Hello friends, a reliable and economical operation of the main engine is conditional upon its correct operation and maintenance of its components. In this video, I'll demonstrate you the step-by-step procedures to overhaul a ME engine exhaust valve. Before dismantling the exhaust valve, ensure you have all the spares available on board, and most importantly, you have read the instruction manual for the procedures to be followed. So guys, let's get started. Remove the 4 nuts securing the oil cylinder to the air cylinder and lift away the oil cylinder. Clear the oil above the air cylinder. Mount the support and the hydraulic jack in order to dismantle the conical nut on the valve spindle. Connect the hydraulic hose. Once the jack is fully compressed and tightened to the full face contact with the support, unscrew it by half a revolution. Now raise the hydraulic pressure to 1500 bar. At 1500 bar, loosen the conical nut by 4 to 5 turns. Then gradually release the hydraulic pressure to 0 bar. Tighten the jack and then loosen it. Remove the hydraulic hose, the jack and the support tool. Now you can unscrew the conical nut. In order to remove the damper bushing, blow the service air through the non-return valve on the spring air inlet line located at the bottom of the air cylinder and lift the damper bushing. Mount 2 eye bolts on top of the air cylinder and lift the same. You will get access to the retaining ring. Remove the retaining ring from the shaft spindle. Unscrew 2 opposite studs and mount the eye bolts into it. Secure the exhaust valve housing using the belt straps and separate it from the exhaust valve spindle. Unscrew the 2 retaining screws securing the bottom piece with the housing. Lift the valve housing and using a tin hammer, release the bottom piece from the valve housing. To release the carbon deposits from the valve housing, soak it in water. Do the same with the valve spindle and the bottom piece. Friends, there are 2 pistons located inside the air cylinder, the damper piston and the air piston, both controlling the exhaust valve closing movement. Remove both the pistons. There is a orifice plug on the oil cylinder. The controlled amount of oil is passed through it to the oil seal control unit. Dismantle the orifice plug and the disc. Clear the hole inside the orifice plug and box back the disc and the plug. There is an oil piston inside the oil cylinder. A flange secures the oil piston. Remove the 4 Allen bolts and the flange from the oil cylinder. Then remove the oil piston. Check the thickness of the piston rings. If worn down to minimum limits, discard the rings and mount the new ones. Also check the movement of the spool on top of the oil piston. Remove the sealing rings and O-rings on the damper piston. Remove the Teflon rings and O-rings on the air piston. The new Teflon rings to be mounted on the air piston must be heated into hot water at approximately 100 degrees Celsius for at least 5 minutes. Mount the new Teflon rings and O-rings on the air piston. Mount the new O-rings and sealing rings on the damper piston. The air piston and the damper piston are now ready to be installed into the air cylinder. Remove the exhaust valve housing from the tub and clean the bottom housing sitting area. Discard the sealing rings and O-rings on the valve spindle stuffing box. Carefully clean all the grooves for the sitting surfaces of the O-rings inside the stuffing box. Install new O-rings and sealing rings. Friends, the new sealing ring needs to be bent to make it fit inside the groove. Mount the new O-rings. Next, using an inside micrometer, inspect the spindle guide bushing in the exhaust valve housing for wear and measure the top and bottom diameters. If at all the readings are beyond limits, replace the bushing. Remove the bottom piece of the valve housing from the water tub and clear it off all the carbon deposits. Using a template, measure the clearances G2 and G3 as mentioned in the manual at 4 diametrically opposite points on the circumference of the bottom piece sitting. Compare the readings with the limits given in the manual. Discard and replace the bottom piece if the readings are beyond the specified range. Thoroughly clean the valve spindle and carry out the measurements as stated in the manual. Inspect the sitting surfaces for the burn marks. Check the burn off of the valve spindle by measuring along the spindle template. Friends, each open and close movement of the exhaust valve spindle causes wear in the spindle stem, especially in the area traveling within the stuffing box sealing. Measure the wear rate in that area. Refer the manual for the concerned heights where the stem diameter is to be measured. The measurement is taken at 2 places. If the stem diameter is less than the spindle needs to be sent for reconditioning. Check the diameter of the bore inside the oil cylinder. If at all the readings exceed the limits stated in the manual, send the oil cylinder to shore for reconditioning. Renew the O-rings. Install back the oil piston with the openings of the piston rings 180 degrees opposite to each other. Mount the flange and tighten all the 4 Allen bolts. The oil cylinder is now ready to be installed. Now start assembling back all the mountings. Lift and land the valve housing on the bottom piece. There is a guide pin provided in the bottom piece. Confirm it enters the hole in the bottom of the valve housing. Once the bottom piece is in its position, mount and tighten the retaining screws for the bottom piece. Lubricate the spindle with plenty of lubricating oil and carefully land the valve housing along with the bottom piece on the valve spindle. Take care not to damage the threads and the sealing rings inside the stuffing box. Then mount the retaining ring on the spindle. Fix the 4 studs back into the valve housing. Then lubricate the O-rings on the spindle stuffing box and carefully land the air cylinder on the exhaust valve housing. There is a locating pin provided on the valve housing. Check it's engaging with the air cylinder body. Friends, it is very important to fill the groove inside the air cylinder with clean lubricating oil, approximately half liter. This ensures proper lubrication between the spindle and the stuffing box sealing rings. Next, install the air piston and the damper piston and use the damper bushing to position the pistons in the space. Mount the damper bushing and the conical nut. Install the support tool and the hydraulic jack. Tighten the jack until it touches the support. Install the hydraulic hose and raise the hydraulic pressure gradually to 1500 bar. At 1500 bar, tighten the conical nut. Install a new O-ring on the air cylinder in the passage of sealing oil. Then mount the oil cylinder over the air cylinder. Fix the 4 nuts and tighten the same to the specified torque as mentioned in the manual. Friends, the exhaust valve always needs to be tested and checked for operation before it is mounted back on the engine. I'll be preparing my next video on testing of an overall exhaust valve, detailing step-by-step procedures to confirm the valve is functioning efficiently. So guys, you just need to hit the like button and subscribe my channel and familiarize yourself with the testing procedures of an overall exhaust valve. If at all you find this video informative and interesting, your comments are highly appreciated. Thank you for watching the video. Wish you all a safe seas and healthy stay on board. Thank you.